Have your seats. Your Excellency, the First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria, global and national Stop TB champion, distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, wife of the Speaker, House of Representatives, Hajia Fatima Tajuddin Abbas, wife of the Chief of Staff to the President, Mrs. Salamatu Bajabia Miller, Honorable Coordinating Minister, Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, CON, Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Adekunle Salako, the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs, Hajia Imam Suleiman Ibrahim, wives of ministers here present, our Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Health, Patron, Stop TB Partnership Nigeria, Dr. Funke Lawson, Acting Board Chair, Stop TB Partnership Nigeria, Dr. Queen Ogbuji Ladikbo, Executive Director, Stop TB Partnership, Dr. Lucika Ditio, Minister of Health, Philippines, Honorable Teodoro J. Herbosa, Executive Director, Afro Global Alliance, Mr. Austin Arinze Obiafuna, Minister of Health, South Africa, Honorable Aaron Motsoa Lady, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, National Health Mission India, MS Ardan Hana Pat Naiki, Chief Tuberculosis Division, U.S. Agency for International Development, Ms. Cherry Vincent, Director General, Africa Center for Science for Disease Control and Prevention, Director, Global Tuberculosis Program, World Health Organization, Dr. Teresa Kasaeva, Director, High Impact Africa, the Global Fund, Dr. Maria Kirova, Deputy Minister of Health, Malawi, Honorable Halima Daud, Deputy Minister of Health and Social Protection of the Population, Tajikistan, Honorable Abdul Halik Amir Zoda, Mission Director, U.S. Agency for International Development, Dr. Melissa Jones, Deputy Director, Infectious Diseases and Pandemic Preparedness, Global Affairs, Canada, Ms. Carrie Lehimia, Policy and Program Manager, Foreign and Commonwealth Office, Ms. Yami Taubi, Director of the Geneva Office, United Nations Office for Project Services, Mr. Andrew Kirkwood, Chairman, Global TB Caucus, Honorable Wright Nick Herbert, Chairperson of NEPA, Co-Chair of Cheers, Lesotho Parliament, Chairperson of Health Committee, Lesotho Parliament, Honorable Mokhothu Makhalayani, members of the Diplomatic Corps, donor agencies and partners here present, members of the National Council of Women Societies, led by the acting president, Mrs. Geraldine Ituk, top government functionaries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellencies all, today is 12/12/2024, very significant in the calendar of the health sector. Today is World Universal Health Coverage. And so what we are doing is in sync with the expectations of the rest of the world. Please, let's put our hands together that we have life to witness today. Quickly, I'd just like to sum up the expectations for today. A lot has been said and done about tuberculosis. Political will has always and will become an imperative to get in there, especially with the milestones that Nigeria has achieved, as we were told just about 2 days back. However, political will have to amplify, demonstrate for impact and results. It is therefore an imperative that we're all gathered here today at this high-level stakeholders meeting taking place on tuberculosis. And again, I think a very loud round of applause, even if we are just starting, for the mother of the nation that has put everything to ensuring that we are where we are today. Her voice, her support has given credence to the fact that political will is an imperative. Thank you, Mother of the Nation. And it is on this premise that I humbly bid all the dignitaries here present welcome to this milestone that I'm sure will push us faster and accelerate efforts towards eliminating TB in Nigeria and indeed the world. Welcome. My name is still Mujima Kojola, and as we continue this morning, I'd like to quickly invite to the microphone the acting board chair, Stop TB Partnership Nigeria, Dr. Queen Ogbuji Ladipo, who would give us the welcome address. Please, let's put our hands together as she comes to take.
Your Excellency, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the global and national TB champion, kindly allow me, Ma, to adopt the existing protocol. Distinguished guests, it is with great honor and immense gratitude that I welcome you all to this pivotal high-level meeting on tuberculosis in Nigeria. Your presence today underscores your unwavering commitment to addressing one of our time's most pressing public health challenges. Today, we stand united in our shared vision of a TB-free Nigeria. This vision aligns with the global commitment to end TB as a public health threat by 2030. However, achieving this ambitious goal requires concerted efforts, innovative strategies, and most importantly, collaboration across all sectors. TB remains a significant challenge in Nigeria, with our country ranking among the highest burdened globally. While progress has been made in recent years through the dedication of health workers, partners, and stakeholders, the statistics remind us that much work remains. Behind every number is a story of a mother, a father, and a child whose life has been impacted by this disease. We owe them to intensify our efforts and ensure no one is left behind. This high-level meeting is both timely and crucial. It provides a platform for us to reflect on the strides we have made and identify the gaps that still exist. Strategize how best to leverage our resources, expertise, and partnerships. Mobilize the political will, financial commitments, and community engagement necessary to scale up TB interventions. As we deliberate over the next few days, let us be guided by the principles of inclusivity, accountability, and sustainability. We must also prioritize the voices of those most affected by TB, ensuring that our actions are rooted in the lived experiences of patients and survivors. I would like to take this opportunity to express my profound gratitude to the government of Nigeria, our dear mother, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our international partners, civil society organizations, and the dedicated health workers who are at the forefront of the fight against TB. Your dedication inspires us all. In conclusion, I encourage each one of us to seize this moment. Let this meeting not just be an exchange of ideas, but a catalyst for action. Together, we can and must make TB a disease of the past. Once again, welcome to this significant gathering. Let us work together towards a healthier, TB-free Nigeria. Thank you, and I wish all of us productive deliberations.
Thank you very much. A call there for every hand to be on deck to reduce, contain, and eliminate TB in Nigeria. At this point, I'd like to invite the Vice Chair of the Board, Stop TB Partnership Global, Mr. Austin Arinze Ubiafuna, who will address us. Please, let's welcome him warmly.
Once again, good morning, everyone. Your Excellency, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, the First Lady of the Republic of Nigeria, our global and national TB champion. May I stand on the existing protocol, Your Excellency? It gives me a great pleasure to speak to you this morning as the Vice Chair of the Stop TB Partnership and National Stop TB Global Ambassador to welcome you most cordially at this official opening of the high-level event, Political Leadership to End TB, hosted by Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Nigeria, at the beginning of the 38th board meeting of the Stop TB Partnership, taking place in my motherland, Nigeria. Let me start by acknowledging the leadership of Her Excellency, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, in addressing TB in Nigeria, in Africa, and globally. I would like to particularly comment on showing the example in domestic resource mobilization by providing 1 billion naira for the procurement of TB lamp tests and other commodities. Stressing the importance of political leadership in tackling TB epidemic, I would like also to mention that in April, I was one of the 4 people recognized during Her Excellency's investiture. This event is the culmination of an enormous collective effort of partners and stakeholders in Nigeria, Africa, and globally in the TB response. But most importantly, it shows the great leadership at the highest level and a strong political commitment to end TB in Nigeria and beyond. I should like to take the opportunity to express my appreciation to Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, the Honorable Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, for his leadership in health and championing integrated service delivery, and also assisting in opening the doors for the high-level engagement. I thank the Stop TB Nigeria board and their hardworking executive secretary, Mayowa Joel. He is a friend. But last but not the least, Dr. Chukwuma Anyike, the Public Health Director at the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare and the former program manager at the National TB Leprosy, who has been instrumental in shaping TB program in Nigeria. In recent years, we witnessed a significant increase of concern among TB-affected communities, civil society, countries, and partners on the decrease of funding for TB, exactly as the world is becoming more ambitious in the fight against TB, with several innovations, tools, vaccine in the pipeline, and even more sophisticated technologies. Without deliberate effort to increase TB funding, these beautiful and promising initiatives will never see the light of day. The global TB community, with the civil society and communities in front, pushed for equitable allocation of the global fund resources with the TB 33 campaign to respond to the current evidence among the 3 diseases, AIDS, TB, and malaria. But this has not been successful, as the recent Global Fund Board decision literally maintained the 18% of its allocation to TB. Even so, we still have a long way to go, and only through a joint effort we will be able to reach our fundamental goal of ending TB. And I consider this high-level event as a wake-up call for countries to deal with their TB problems and not solely depend on the Global Fund. Her Excellency, distinguished visitors, let me express in the name of the Stop TB Partnership Global our most sincere wish that we support domestic resource mobilization and to request more funding for TB during the country request of the Global Fund. Distinguished participants, TB cannot be ended globally without strong leadership at the country level. Political will is essential for enabling and amplifying the drive towards ending TB. Political leadership ensures that ending TB remains a priority on national and global agenda. Leaders have the power to direct resources, influence policies, foster multi-sectoral partnership needed to tackle TB effectively. Their engagement sets tone for accountability and ensures no one is left behind, especially vulnerable populations who are often most affected by TB. Moreover, political champions are instrumental in breaking down stigma associated with TB, encouraging communities to access care without fear or discrimination. Their advocacy can inspire collective action across sectors, uniting stakeholders from health, education, finance, and beyond to address the social determinants of TB and achieve sustainable progress. With dedicated political leadership, we can mobilize the necessary resources, strengthen health systems, and accelerate innovations to dictate, treat, and prevent TB more effectively. This is a decisive moment in our journey towards a TB-free world, and I am confident that with the leadership of Her Excellency, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, we can achieve this goal. Your Excellency, I look forward to continuous engagement as a national and global TB champion and bringing other First Ladies in the fight against TB. And thank you all once again for your leadership and partnership in the fight against TB. We must maintain momentum to stop the spread of the Asian disease and reach the affected people with care they need. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Thank you.
I'd like to re-echo that optimism. Yes, we can. Thank you. I'd now like to invite the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Adekule Salako, to address the audience.
Your Excellency, the First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Global Ambassador, National Ambassador, NTB, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, wife of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the wife of the Chief of Staff, my colleague, my brother, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, the Minister of Women Affairs, wife of colleague ministers here present, honorable ministers of health from Indonesia, Philippines, and from many parts of the world who are here present to join us in this high-level event. Eminent delegates, because of time, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. It is with great honor and deep sense of responsibility that I stand before you today for this high-level event, which is to amplify our voices at the highest level to end TB in Nigeria and in our world. This occasion marks a significant milestone in our relentless pursuit of a TB-free Nigeria. TB remains one of the leading infectious diseases in Nigeria, with the World Health Organization estimating that approximately 499,000 people in Nigeria developed TB in 2023. Of this number, only about 74% are diagnosed and properly treated, meaning there are still thousands of Nigerians unknowingly living with the disease. About 10% of humans who lost their lives prematurely due to TB are Nigerians. And about 10% of all deaths in our country is due to TB. In 2021, this translated to an estimated 125,000 Nigerians, or 15 Nigerians every hour. This represents a major public health issue requiring collaborative attention of all stakeholders. Furthermore, despite the global commitment to end TB by 2030, Nigeria continues to record a high number of TB deaths, with about 71% of TB patients experiencing catastrophic costs while seeking care for TB. These statistics are not just numbers. They represent mothers, fathers, children, and communities that are suffering in silence, often without the necessary support for diagnosis, treatment, and care. It is against this background that the health sector in Nigeria, and indeed all sufferers of TB, appreciate Your Excellency, the Mother of our nation, for your frontal involvement as global and national ambassador to end TB. Apart from deploying resources directly through the Renew Hope initiative, your voice, your caring personality has added more impetus and a catalytic imperative to end and win the fight against TB. Your Excellency, Ma, on behalf of the coordinating minister and all of us directly within the health sector, I want to sincerely appreciate you for your caring spirit, your empathy, your dedication to improve the health of the average Nigerian. In 2023, 360,000 cases of TB, an increase of 26% from 2022, was discovered, which is a good thing, because it shows that our research and detection capacity is increasing. If we assume that all these 361,000 cases are drug sensitive, it will cost Nigeria not less than $450 million USD to treat them. Unfortunately, there's a huge funding gap estimated to be up to 70% to control and eradicate TB in our country. The government of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, prioritized health as a fundamental right and a matter of long-term national security. The government, as part of efforts to address the untoward outcome in our healthcare services, including that of TB, launched the National Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative with the aim of improving population health outcome through the primary healthcare systems and embracing reproductive, maternal, and child healthcare services in our country. The implementation of this initiative will expand access to quality services, including TB services provided by trained professionals using the latest equipment and best available treatment regime. The Federal Ministry of Health, as part of efforts to ensure multi-sectoral engagement in the fight to end TB, developed the operational manual for implementing multi-sectoral accountability framework in Nigeria, which we will launch today. These documents were developed in collaboration with all relevant ministries, departments, agencies, and organizations, including the private sector and the civil society organizations. In addition to government agencies, the private sector is also being invited to participate in the crucial assignment of driving innovation, delivering healthcare services, and ensuring the availability of affordable TB treatments and diagnostics. Communities are equally essential. We must empower individuals to seek care and ensure that our health workers are adequately trained and supported. Our communities must become active partners in the fight against TB. In conclusion, let me once again thank you, Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for your unwavering support and commitment to end TB in Nigeria. I would also like to thank our partners for their support in the fight to end TB as a public health problem in Nigeria. I call on all of us here today to renew our commitment to the fight against TB. We must ensure that the framework we launched today does not remain just a document on the shelf, but a living, breathing guide that drives concrete action across all sectors of our society. The success of this framework will be measured not only in the number of TB cases reduced, but in the number of lives saved in our communities and those that we empowered. Together, we can build a TB-free Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you indeed. And coming down with those figures, I just got another one. They said globally, according to experts, the severity of TB is so huge. 1 person dies of TB every 1 minute. In Nigeria, I'm also told that 1 person dies every 5 minutes, which also shows the severity of TB. But the good news is that it is curable. And it is on this premise I'd like to invite Tokwe Adebola Adams, National Coordinator, TB People Nigeria, to address us. Shall we please welcome her? Thank you. She's way back at the back. I think the applause can continue because she represents the hope for TB survivors. Thank you very much.
Good day, Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, GCON, the Honorable Minister, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Ali Pate, and please kindly permit me to align with existing protocol. It is a great privilege to stand before you today to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for your presence and unwavering commitment towards ending tuberculosis in Nigeria. This is a daunting task you have continually shouldered over the years and worked relentlessly to achieve through investments in human, material, and financial resources, which consistently yield remarkable outcomes. Your Excellency, the magnanimity you have shown is unprecedented, and for this, we are immensely grateful. This gesture will go a long way in improving TB response in Nigeria. We neither take it for granted nor feel entitled. Nevertheless, like Oliver Twist, we request more support humbly, especially in 3 major areas. Nutritional support for TB patients during and after treatment for at least 18 months to encourage proper adherence to treatment, healing, and recovery. Nutrition is a major pillar in the successful treatment of tuberculosis. With proper nutrition, relapse is abated. This can be achieved through leveraging on the UNICEF feeding programs for undernourished children 5 years and below, and collaborating with agencies and companies who are into the manufacturing industries, food manufacturing industries. There are so many of them in our great country, Nigeria. Looking inwards and focusing on domestic resource mobilization for the control and management of TB in Nigeria has never been more needed than now. 2, capacity building, empowerment, training, and reabsorption into the workforce, especially those survivors who lost their jobs due to falling ill from TB and have since recovered. Finally, enacting and enforcing laws that check stigma and discrimination against persons affected by TB and creating more awareness about the disease through the media and other channels to disarm mythical beliefs about TB and to encourage positive behavioral changes towards TB-affected communities. Yes, we can make a significant difference and create a TB-free future for ourselves and generations to come. The will and way to end TB lie with us, and together we can end TB. Thank you.
I think her smile says it all. That indeed it is a doable project. We're moving on now, and I'd like to invite the Executive Director of Stop TB Partnership Global. Yes, very alert, very ready. Welcome, Lucika Ditu.
Good morning. It's such a privilege to be here. Your Excellency, you are amazing. You are amazing. I pray for your health, and I pray for everyone around you to support you, because you give us a lot of hope. Thank you. I'm very honored to be here. I feel I have Nigerian blood because my love affair with Nigeria started some long time ago, and it started with Professor Lovett, that is now somewhere in the sky. I know his wife is here with us, and I think he's looking at us, and hopefully he's proud of where we are. Thank you, Professor Lovett. 10 months ago in Brazil, when Honorable Minister Pate invited us here in Nigeria, looked like such a long time till December. 9 months ago, I was here, and Her Excellency, the First Lady, agreed to be our global, regional, and national Stop TB champion. And look how many things happened in the meantime. Your Excellency, you have in the room here people from 62 countries. Different levels, different layers, from survivors and civil society that are the core for all of us, to private sector, to, as we said, financing partners and governments, technical partners, technocrats. Everybody is here for this week, not only to contribute, but I have to say also, or mainly, to learn from the work that is happening here in Nigeria. I want to tell you something with all honesty. In these 9 months, 10 months, Nigeria went to another high. I hope that the team of Minister Pate will speak about this. And that high is the fact that in 2024, Nigeria is probably at 80% case detection rate, meaning that out of estimated people, 80% were diagnosed and treated in 2024. This is, I actually want to say this, and I want you to applaud after that louder, not for me, but for the Nigerian people, because several years ago, we were speaking about Nigeria. That was before COVID, before this, and I was specifically told, forget about Nigeria. They are at 36% case detection rate. Forget about Nigeria. And I was outraged because that's not the dialogue you should have. And I am so humbled and full of respect for every single one of you that in a matter of few years, Nigeria went from 36 to 80%. Well done. Well done, Minister Pate. Well done, Dr. Anyaike. Well done, Mayoa and Stop TB. We will support you as much as we can to go to 100%, because you can do it. Not everything is rose, not everything is honey and milk. And as you heard and you will hear, there is financial shortage. But you know how is this? It's like you have a kid that you trained and you prepared, and you know, and you see the kid that he's running and breaking record after record after record. And when you see this, you realize there might not be enough money to send the kid to compete. And you stay there and you say, you know what I mean? I invested all of this. The kid is absolutely amazing. Will I allow the fact that I might not have money to send him to stop me? Absolutely not. None of us will do that. So I want all of us in this room to treat the program of TB in Nigeria as the kid that is an overachiever, that is somehow the victim of the overachieving because you increase so much the case detection that the budget needs to catch up as well. And we cannot allow the financial gaps to stay in front of what is a huge, tremendous success and work. So, I know that we are looking into this very much. Is not only Nigeria case, it's actually case in several other high burden countries in the world, India, Indonesia, Philippines, that are extreme ambition. Maybe the money are not there, but it's also the time, looking now at the environment with the funding after COVID, to really do what I said, it's a big reset in which the countries take the lead. And the country leaders not only take the lead, but own, like it's happening in Nigeria, the situation and the health of their people. We don't have this everywhere. That's why I'm so grateful to you, Your Excellency. Because you care for the health of your people. And if it's tuberculosis that affects the health of your people, you are here in the front line to do something about it. And the big reset is that the countries should drive these efforts. And even though the money will never be enough, that is not something to stop us. Because we will need to be, you know, when you are a bit or more poor, you are also inventive, right? Because you don't allow to suffer. You find ways to survive and be well. So that's what we should do in TB. We need to find additional money, starting with Nigeria. We need to find at least 25 million to match the private sector commitment in July. So I don't know what we do. We go door to door. We go to these high net worth and rich people that for them putting few more money in there. We need to do whatever it takes to find this 25, because with the other 25 makes 50. That's a good number. So count on me to go in Nigeria around. Count on me to go and speak with whomever. You know, sometimes we go to a movie or we speak with a friend and we know that a friend of a friend is somebody who has a big company or so. Can they help? I also want to say, and I think was mentioned already, in looking for money, we need to be also very smart. People work somewhere, either in the public or in the private sector. If I will be the owner of a private company, I will be very interested to know if my people have TB. So why don't we push the private companies to test, diagnose, and treat their people with TB? Because it's good for them. I'm sorry to say, but you might not get HIV/AIDS in a workplace, but you can get TB because it's spread through air. So why don't we push this to happen? And in this way, we a bit reduce the burden that comes on the public sector. We have here the amazing ladies and the wives of governors that are involved. I think at each government level, they can do a bit more by decentralizing a bit. That's what I call the big reset, a shift in which we are very happy as partners, and the Stop TB, we will always be here for Nigeria. But it's extremely important that is the country standing up for their people and saying, I want to cure them, and I want to treat them, and I have the ambition, I have the tools, and I have the people. Maybe I don't have all the money, but that will not stop me. So we will go ahead on this. I will end with a request to Your Excellency. I said that you are a hope for Nigeria, for Africa, and for the world. For Africa, you already heard the director of the CDC Center. We have to keep him to his word because he invited Her Excellency to address the heads of states in February in Addis Ababa and speak about tuberculosis. As you all know, sometimes these people make big promises at this, they forget to keep them, but on this one we will keep him, and we will make sure that you are invited to speak about TB, because some people will try to make you speak about everything under the sky. That will be a huge push for Africa, I have to say. And then at global level, we hope to have you with us in 2025 in few global places, but maybe in 1-2 countries that I think need to raise to the drive that we see here in Nigeria. Nigeria is an example. Nigeria is able to go and reach not 80, but maybe not 100, because you never are able to find every single one, but 98% of people with TB. You should not set for less, and we together should not allow, absolutely we should not allow the fact that there is a gap financially or some other bottlenecks to stop you from being the awesome that you are as a country. I thank you, Your Excellency. I thank you, Minister Pate, and everyone from Nigeria here. You are awesome. Yes, we can.
Thank you, Lusika. The energy that she brings into advocacy, it's unprecedented. I think she deserves another very loud round of applause. Yes, we are speaking to high-level interventions today. It's a collaborative effort, and at this moment, I hear that you had more than 60 foreigners here with us. Shall we please give them the Nigerian welcome? All the foreign delegates would like to give you the very wide, warm Nigerian welcome. Shall we please put our hands together for them? Thank you. I'd now like to invite for goodwill messages, maximum of 3 minutes. If you make it in 2 minutes, I'll be happy. If you make it in, 1 minute, 30 seconds, that will even gladden my heart. And that may allow me to throw my stick away and walk on my leg. All right. Yeah, seriously now we go to high-level interventions, and I'd like to start with the Global TV Caucus Chair, Right Honorable Lord Nick Herbert.
Your Excellency, Ministers, distinguished guests, thank you so much for giving me the great honor of being one of the 60 foreigners here to address this meeting. 10 years ago, in Barcelona, I joined with the Honorable Stephen Mule, Member of Parliament in Kenya, who is here today with me, and a handful of other parliamentarians from around the world to launch the Global TB Caucus. Today, we are an alliance of 2,500 parliamentarians. The number of caucuses has grown from 3 in our national parliaments around the world to over 50, many of them in the African continent, and today the African Regional Global TB Caucus will be meeting with 22 members of parliament from across the continent to express our commitment to join you in the battle to end tuberculosis. As many of us have said before, this is not so much a scientific and medical challenge as a political challenge. In the course of that 10 years, much progress has been made. There have been 2 high-level meetings, but also immensely encouraging advances in, for instance, better diagnostics, better drugs, even the elusive prospect of the vaccine that we do not have to tackle this disease. But the thing that has been most encouraging has been the growing mobilization of effort in the great countries around the world where most needs to be done to tackle this disease. We have seen remarkable efforts, as we've heard from Luchika here in Nigeria. Remarkable efforts in Indonesia and in India and in Brazil. And if these countries continue to mobilize, then we really do stand a chance to turn the tide on this disease. Of course, there is a huge resources challenge, but it's not an insurmountable one. We will have to confront the challenge of replenishing the global fund, of mobilizing resources in country, of encouraging Western countries to continue to invest in research and development along with partner countries. But in the end, the challenge is not just about resources. It requires one thing above all, and that is leadership. The leadership that has been shown here by Nigeria, led by Your Excellency. The leadership that is shown by ministers here and elsewhere. The leadership that is shown by my parliamentary colleagues. The leadership that is shown by the medical and scientific world. The leadership that is shown by you, the NGOs, the activists who fight so bravely for tuberculosis. This is not just a matter for our world leaders, it is a matter of leadership for everyone here. That each of us needs to play our part to ensure that this disease, which can be beaten, will be beaten. So I thank you for your leadership, and I pledge that we, the parliamentarians around the world who are committed to join this fight, will continue to work with you and support you until we have succeeded in ending TB. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lord Nick Herbert, and thank you for that show of commitment. We're moving on now to invite Melissa Jones, Mission Director, U.S. Agency for International Development. Thank you. Melissa had always demonstrated her support for all that we do in the health sector. Please let's give her a very warm welcome.
Wow, what a crowd. Your Excellency, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, esteemed colleagues, guests, let me also stand on existing protocol. You know, a year ago, I was with the coordinating minister in this very room to talk about the importance of partnership. That is what we are doing here today. And in that room, the Excellency, the President of this great republic, said, health is no longer on the back burner. It is on the front burner. And it is that excitement that I can say, as a diplomat working in this country, that no one can forget about Nigeria. Nigeria has demonstrated time and time again that when there is no way, they find a way. So on behalf of USAID, I'm here today to reinforce our commitment to the health sector and our commitment to ending TB. We are, as USAID, the largest government agency leading the international TB response. We have committed to driving towards ending this terrible disease and have invested more than $4.7 billion in TB efforts since 2000, including $317 million in Nigeria alone. And we're focusing on two important goalposts. One is to reduce the incidence of TB by 35% and TB mortality by 52% by 2030. And as a partner, and as Stop TB and this conference is recognizing, political leadership is key. And in Nigeria, Your Excellency, the First Lady, you have demonstrated time and time and time and time and time again the extraordinary leadership, the voice of the people, to bring to the global stage how important it is to do the work of ending TB. So in the next 4 years, it will be critical for all countries with high burden of TB to keep their eyes on the prize, renew our commitment and funding, and remember that the network of local actors, of local partners, of the advocates are central to addressing the end of TB. In fact, in Africa, for us at USAID, 60% of our funding goes directly to local partners. And in Nigeria, it's more than 65%. We also invest in the development and introduction and scale up of new tools for finding, treating, and preventing TB. And then fundamentally, what is key to our work is strengthening primary health care. This is something that the coordinating minister has put top of his agenda, his leadership, and I must say, if I might just take a moment, what a great time to be in the health sector. It is extraordinary because of the leadership, sir, that you bring every day, sun up to sunset. I actually was in a meeting with you not so long ago, and I think the meeting ended at 7, but you did not go home. You were still in the office. It is that leadership and dedication that we so much respect as development partners. So as was mentioned, we have seen great progress in Nigeria, where the proportion of people with TB who receive treatment has increased from 26% in 2019 to 74% in 2023. And the early projections from my team, led by Sherry Vincent from Washington, has said to me that case detection, looking at the data, will be over 80%. This is extraordinary. It is extraordinary. And it is because of the political will and leadership of this great country. But let's be clear, the battle is not over. We need to do more. And we need to strengthen our investments in research We need to really introduce more rapid introduction and scaling up new tools and technologies. And we need to support those TB networks, those individuals who are survivors of this disease, and we need to invest in their support, their health and well-being. We are, as USAID, remain steadfast in our commitment to ending TB. The United States recognizes that no single entity can do it alone, and we will continue to support all of you on your journey to really end TB. So thank you very much, and it is a pleasure to be with you here today.
Thank you, Melissa. I'd like now to invite from the World Health Organization, Director Global TV Program, Dr. Teresa Kasaeva. Please, let's welcome her very, very warmly. From all indication, we're on the global scene. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Global TB Ambassador, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON. Distinguished guests, Excellencies, Ministers, partners, civil society representatives, colleagues, and friends. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here today with you at this remarkable event, I would say historic event demonstrating political leadership, and to greet you on behalf of the World Health Organization and its leadership. Please accept my warm greetings on behalf of Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, our Director General, on behalf of our regional office, on behalf of country representative and all colleagues. This is definitely one of the most important events this year. And we would like once again to applaud to the leadership, to the outstanding achievements. I would say responsible leadership who cares about the needs of the most vulnerable, the poorest population affected by tuberculosis. I would like to recall words of our Director General that universal health coverage without access for all TB patients, timely and quality access to essential TB services cannot be achieved. For sure cannot be achieved in the highest TB burden countries. And in the same time, it could be a tracer of progress, and we can understand how effectively we are moving towards UHC if we are doing great addressing tuberculosis. And that's why it also shows that you are on track, you are exactly on the way towards achieving universal health coverage. We should always remember that at the time of challenges, and TB is one of the biggest global and oldest pandemic and challenge, we have also opportunities. And how we can use these opportunities, this is a question to all of us. Briefly about the challenges based on our latest global TB report. Unfortunately, tuberculosis came back to its position, the biggest infectious disease killer in the world. Number one, you know, with 1.25 million deaths last year. Due to COVID impact and many other reasons, TB incidence are continuing growing. And that's why it means that our efforts should be doubled and tripled. When sometimes we hear excuses, but we have so many priorities, it's such a challenging time with the global crises, global threats, probably we understand, but it's not possible. Again, Your Excellency, you and the whole country demonstrate that it's possible. It's possible and everything is in our hands. Of course, as I've told, there are many bigger challenges. We have a problem of antimicrobial resistance, climate change. We have the conflicts in many regions, and massive migration of the population. We need to strengthen primary healthcare and pandemic preparedness, learning lessons from COVID-19 pandemic, and where is place for TB. Colleagues would like to encourage you look at the TB programs and perspective from completely different angle. It should be considered as a basis, as a pathfinder, and as an essential platform for pandemic preparedness, for addressing antimicrobial resistance, for preparedness for climate change related issues, for new pandemics. We learned lessons from COVID. We've seen how actively TB programs were engaged in the COVID response, because investments in TB should be considered as investments in the health system strengthening, in primary healthcare strengthening. And again, about opportunities, WHO recommended 3 new effective drugs over the past several years, 12 new diagnostics. I would like to pre-announce we're expecting and very excited even new point-of-care tests next year, and efforts should be continued. We have much better treatment options. TB is preventable and curable, and let's do our part of job. Dear colleagues, WHO would like to reaffirm commitments and to work closely with the countries, with the partners, with the civil society. And it's possible. Let's make TB a successful story, ending TB a successful story, and let's leave to our children a world free of tuberculosis. Yes, we can end TB. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now invite Dr. Halima Daud, who is the Deputy Minister, Ministry of Health, Malawi.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, Honorable Minister, Professor Muhammad Pate, the Minister of Health in Nigeria, all ministers present here this morning, members of Parliament, distinguished ladies, our distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'd like to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this important discussion. Your Excellency, Malawi's health system is predominantly funded by external sources at 54% of the total health expenditure, with only 24% coming in from the public purse. This has been the case for years and greatly undermines the sustainability agenda for health financing in Malawi. My ministry, Your Excellency, has since 2021 established the Health Financing Division to spearhead the health financing agenda. And in 2023, the ministry launched its first ever health financing strategy for Malawi, whose major objective is to ensure the exponential growth of domestic financing for health. Our major burden is that singular disease like TB, malaria, HIV and AIDS are financed by substantial external resources from the Global Fund, USAID, World Bank, accounting for 80 to 90% of the respective disease control programs financing. We are grateful for the support rendered over the years, and however, this is a double-edged sword. If our partners were to drastically and suddenly reduce financing, this could collapse Malawi's health system. Suffice to say that we are already seeing a drop in flows by our major funders, and the ministry has since been engaging all the critical stakeholders, including the Minister of Finance, Parliament, donor partners, civil society, and the private sector. This means that we have to increase our domestic financing. Now, talking about domestic financing, the major source currently includes inflows from the Minister of Finance, which constitutes 12% of the government budget, and out of pocket at 12%, and private sector at 9%. Your Excellency, in order to ensure the growth of domestic financing, my ministry is therefore proposing the following innovations. Firstly, we would like to see the share of financing realized through the Minister of Finance to move to 15% or more. Secondly, we would like to see earmarked taxation from health realized through special taxes on products such as airtime, alcohol, and motor vehicle insurance. Currently, my ministry, with the Minister of Finance, are already working on the mechanisms of establishing a health fund, and we believe this will change the trajectory of health financing in Malawi. Thirdly, Your Excellency, direct financing to primary health facilities. My ministry did south to south, learning from the Republic of Tanzania, and has been how funding facilities directly has to lead to improvements in health systems. We are starting with 14 facilities out of 29, and are mobilizing more financing towards this key reform. Fourthly, a greater emphasis on public-private partnerships and private sector involvement. We have formed a sub-technical working group on private sector, and we are recruiting a consultant to do a compendium on bankable projects for private sector financing. We are also working with the private sector to see how best corporate social responsibilities can be better coordinated to finance the ministry's priorities. My ministry is also working on a number of efficiency areas with aim to squeezing more out of each dollar spent, or put another way, to get more bang for our bucks. And this includes one plan, one budget, one report, reform area that we are implementing with our development partners. As you know that we have a lot of partners in our country, and each and every partner had their own plan, their own budget, and their own report. It was too much for us, so we decided to have one. We are into the second year of this arrangement, and I am pleased to report that already we have identified areas beset by inefficiencies, examples including in-service training and supervision. I briefly touched on earmarked financing when speaking about domestic resources mobilization. You will have noted that in some instances, for example, taxation on alcohol, tobacco, can be viewed as an innovative way of raising domestic resources and can be thought of as a sin tax. It is important for me to point out that such monies and such a framework, should it become a reality, we go towards the health system rather than just tuberculosis. This is of particular importance because if we are serious about ending the TB epidemic, then one day, not too far from now, the traditional vertical programs that we associate with the TB HIV control will come to an end. This process has already begun, and decentralization is the means of which the health system is evolving. With this evolving evolution, the nature and the character of the system is changing. This is bringing into sharp contrast the need for substantial financing at the district council or city council level. Other examples of innovative financing are the so-called government-to-government mechanisms that USAID and Malawi have experimented with in recent years. In this case, money for disease control is channeled and controlled at the local level rather than through disease control programs. And in a special way, Your Excellency, I would like to thank you so much for the work you're doing in this country. If you wanted, you could have stayed in the State House, relaxing. But we decided to go out there and hold hands with everybody to fight TB. We salute you, Your Excellency. And may God keep on giving you more strength so that you can carry on doing this until TB is completely ended. And this is also what my First Lady in Malawi is actually doing. She's also doing the same, Madam Monica Chakwera. With these few remarks, I thank you for listening. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. God bless you all.
Yes, the high-level interventions continues. At this moment, I'd like to travel to Tajikistan, where I'll invite the Deputy Minister, Ministry of Health, Dr. Amirzoda Abdul Halik, to speak with us.
Ассаламу алейкум. Ваше превосходительство, многоуважаемый госпожа Олуреми Тинубу.
Assalamu alaikum, Your Excellency, Honorable Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON.
Для меня высокий честь в рамках проведения 38-го заседания высокого уровня Совета партнерства «Остановить туберкулез» вы, как одна из лидеров Федеративной Республики Нигерии, принимаете нас сегодня на этом приеме.
It is a great honor for me to be here today at this high-level event, which is organized under your leadership as the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at the beginning of the 38th Stop TB Partnership Board meeting.
Разрешите передать теплые слова от народа Таджикистана и руководства Министерства здравоохранения и социальной защиты населения Республики Таджикистан выразить благодарность за поддержку и организацию 38-го заседания высокого уровня Совета партнерств «Остановить туберкулез» в древнем городе Абуджа, столице Федеративной Республики Нигерии, с ее великолепными достопримечательностями.
Allow me to extend warm greetings on behalf of the people of Tajikistan and the leadership of the Ministry of Health and Social Protection of the population of the Republic of Tajikistan and express our heartfelt gratitude for supporting the organization of the 38th board meeting of the Stop TB Partnership in the city of Abuja, the capital of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Республика Таджикистан, будучи в составе Советского Союза, получила свою государственную независимость в 1991 году. В первые годы независимости страна и ее народ пережили гражданскую войну вплоть до 1997 года.
The Republic of Tajikistan gained its independence in 1991 following the dissolution of the Soviet Union. In its early years of independence, the country endured a civil war that lasted until 1997.
Естественно, в период гражданской войны и после нее в Таджикистане появились такие проблемы в общественном здравоохранении, как эпидемия брюшного тифа, малярии, нехватки бюджета в сфере, отток квалифицированных кадров, нехватки оборудования, медикаментов, что повлияло на общую экономическую и социальную жизнь населения.
The period of civil war and its aftermath brought significant public health challenges to Tajikistan, including outbreaks of typhoid fever and malaria, insufficient healthcare funding, the outflow of skilled personnel, and shortages of equipment and medicines. These challenges negatively affected the nation's economy and social well-being.
В настоящее время в стране были приняты ряд стратегических документов, концепций и национальных программ для развития общей системы здравоохранения, а также для организации профилактики и борьбы с приоритетными инфекционными заболеваниями.
To date, the country has adopted a range of strategic documents, concepts, and national programs aimed at developing the overall healthcare system and strengthening prevention and control of priority infectious diseases.
Таджикистан входит в число 18 стран Европейского региона Всемирной организации здравоохранения, в котором проблема туберкулеза является приоритетными, и она включена в виде одной из стратегических задач национальной стратегии развития Республики Таджикистан до периода 2030 года.
Tajikistan is among the 18 countries in the WHO European region where tuberculosis remains a priority issue. TB response has been integrated as one of the strategic objectives of the National Development Strategy of the Republic of Tajikistan until 2030, which is aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, particularly the target of ending the tuberculosis epidemic by 2030.
Который соответствует целям устойчивого развития Организации Объединенных Наций, в котором отмечена задача положить конец эпидемии туберкулеза к 2030 году.
Currently, Tajikistan is implementing its 5th national program to protect the population from tuberculosis.
На сегодняшний день в стране реализуется 5-я национальная программа по защите населения от туберкулеза. Благодаря постоянной поддержке правительства Республики Таджикистан, привлечению партнеров по развитию гражданского сообщества, система здравоохранения удалось приблизиться к индикаторам указанных в глобальной стратегии по борьбе и профилактике туберкулеза.
With sustained government support, engagement of development partners, and active involvement of civil society, the healthcare system has made progress towards achieving the targets set out in the NTB strategy.
В частности, сокращение смертности от туберкулеза за 35% по сравнению с 2020 годом, сокращение показателей заболеваемости на 30%, достижение пропорций множественных лекарств и устойчивой туберкулеза среди новых случаев ниже 10% и обеспечение доступа к диагностике и лечению всех форм туберкулеза, включая множество лекарств устойчивого и широкого лекарства учета туберкулеза с целью выявления по меньшей мере 85% новых положительных случаев.
In particular, as compared to 2020, the country has achieved a 35% reduction in TB mortality, a 30% decrease in tuberculosis incidence, reducing the proportion of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis among new cases to under 10%, ensuring access to diagnosis and treatment of all forms of tuberculosis, including multi-drug resistant and extensively drug-resistant tuberculosis, in order to detect at least 85% of new cases, successfully treat at least 90% of new cases, detect at least 90% of estimated multi-drug resistant tuberculosis cases, and achieve successful treatment outcomes for at least 75% of notified multi-drug and extensively drug-resistant tuberculosis cases.
Также извлечение по меньшей мере 90% начавших лечение новых положительных случаев, выявлений по меньшей мере 90% расчетных случаев, множество лекарств устойчивых форм туберкулеза и успешное излечение по меньшей мере 75% зарегистрированных случаев множества лекарств устойчивых и широкого лекарства устойчивых туберкулеза. Для достижения поставленных целей необходимо полноценное программное финансирование отрасли. В этом направлении правительство Республики Таджикистан за последние 7 лет, начиная с 2018 года, увеличило бюджет противотуберкулезной службы от 45,1 миллиона сомони до 139 миллионов сомони в 2024 году. Учитывая профессиональную опасность для сотрудников службы с 2019 года, в 100% размер повышена их заработная плата.
Achieving these ambitious goals requires comprehensive program funding. Over the past 7 years, starting in 2018, the government of the Republic of Tajikistan has increased the budget for tuberculosis service from 4.1 million USD to 12.7 million USD in 2024. Recognizing occupational hazards faced by TB healthcare workers, their salaries have been increased by 100% since 2019.
Посредством привлечения таких партнеров, как Глобальный фонд по борьбе с ВИЧ, туберкулезом и малярией, Всемирная организация здравоохранения, организация USAID, партнерство «Остановить туберкулез», «Врачи без границ» и другие, стало возможным полноценный финансовый средств и доступ к лекарственным препаратам, диагностическим средствам, расходным материалам и современным оборудованием.
The involvement of partners such as the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria, World Health Organization, USAID, Stop TB Partnership, KNCV, Doctors Without Borders, and others has facilitated financial support and access to medicines, diagnostic tools, consumables, and modern equipment.
И таким образом, с 2016 года показатели заболеваемости снизились с 66 на 100 тысяч населения до 42 в концу 2023 года. Также смертность снизился от 3,7 до 1 на 100 тысяч аналогичного периода.
As a result, since 2016, the incidence has decreased from 60.6 per 100,000 population to 40.2 per 100,000 by the end of 2023, while mortality has decreased from 3.7 per 100,000 to 1 per 100,000 during the same period.
В вашем присутствии, учитывая такую возможность, разрешите выразить отдельную благодарность руководству Глобального фонда по борьбе с ВИЧ, СПИД, туберкулезом и малярией и исполнительному директору партнерства «Остановить туберкулез» госпоже Лучике Дитию за постоянный, тесный, плодотворный и долговременное сотрудничество с правительством Республики Таджикистан и Министерством здравоохранения и социальной защиты населения в борьбе по профилактике туберкулеза как в Таджикистане, так и в Центральноазиатском регионе с целью достижения поставленных целей по остановке эпидемии туберкулеза.
In your esteemed presence, I would like to take this opportunity to extend special gratitude to Mr. Peter Sands, Executive Director of the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria, and Ms. Luchika Ditiu, the Executive Director of the Stop TB Partnership, for their unwavering, productive and long-term collaboration with the Government of Republic of Tajikistan and the Ministry of Health and Social Protection of the Republic of Tajikistan in fighting tuberculosis in the country and in Central Asia region, contributing to attaining the goal of ending the tuberculosis epidemic.
Многоуважаемая госпожа Алуреми Тинубу, разрешите еще раз поблагодарить вас и правительство Федеративной Республики Нигерии за оказанную честь и пожелать вам многочисленному народу Нигерии благополучия и процветания. Благодарю за внимание.
Your Excellency, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, once again, allow me to express my profound appreciation to you and the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for this honor. I wish you and the people of Nigeria prosperity and well-being. I thank you.
Thank you so very much, particularly sharing your experience and what political will has been able to achieve in your country. Finally, on these high-level interventions, I'd like to invite Dr. Doro Herbosa, Secretary of Health, Ministry of Health in the Philippines.
Her Excellency, Senator Oloremi Tinubu, CON, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our global and national Stop TB champion, Your Excellencies, esteemed ministers, distinguished heads of delegations, health partners, TB patients, ladies and gentlemen, a warm and pleasant morning to all of you. First and foremost, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to the First Lady for extending an invitation to join her in this vital meeting, one that illuminates Nigeria's commitment and leadership to solve one of the world's most lingering public health concerns. I am also honored to stand before a multitude of nations united by a common cause to end tuberculosis, a disease that has plagued humanity for centuries, but remains a challenge we are determined to conquer. As one of the top 6 countries accounting for more than half of the global TB burden, the Philippines, alongside India, Indonesia, China, Pakistan, and Nigeria, bears a substantial responsibility in this shared endeavor. This profound challenge demands bold, coordinated, and resolutely supported political action and leadership, not solely for the health of our own countries, but for the global community of which we all belong. Amidst this formidable challenge, I am honored to share the Philippines' stance as a testament to what a strong commitment and resolute action can accomplish. In 2023, we successfully identified 575,000 TB cases, achieving a commendable treatment coverage of 78%, a significant advancement from 61% in 2022. Alongside Indonesia, our collective progress has contributed to moderating global upward trend in TB cases and related mortalities. These accomplishments affirm a powerful truth: the strategic foresight, adequate resources, steadfast political will, and minimum progress is not only attainable, but also within our grasp. My country's commitment is deeply noted in the visionary leadership of our President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who has elevated the fight against tuberculosis and HIV as a priority of his administration's health agenda. Entrusting our department with the mandate of closely monitoring these diseases, he ensures that our efforts remain steadfast in achieving our national targets and protecting the health of every Filipino. However, our mission is far from complete. Tuberculosis continues to claim lives as one of the leading causes of preventable death. It is essential, however, that we recognize tuberculosis not just as a biomedical challenge, but a deeply ingrained social disease with its roots in the broader social determinants of health. Poverty, malnutrition, inadequate housing, limited access to quality health care are key factors that fuel both its transmission and its impact. Therefore, addressing tuberculosis demands a dual approach, one that not only targets the bacterium itself, but also works to dismantle socio-economic barriers that perpetuate its prevalence. This journey reflects a profound political commitment. Our leadership has pledged to build resilient health systems and not only address TB, but also fortify our defenses against future public health challenges. We have positioned TB elimination as a cornerstone of our national development, embedding it firmly within our agenda for sustainable growth and equity. For the past few years, I am deeply inspired by the First Lady's exceptional leadership and sincere advocacy to intensify our fight against tuberculosis. Your unwavering commitment in this cause is truly inspiring and worthy of highest praise. Your dedication is an example I would like to share with my very own First Lady. Just like you, I am most certain she will take on this cause and lift its banner high. As mothers of great nations, your nurturing guidance will pave the way for bolder commitments and actions to end tuberculosis. Moreover, I am inspired by the interventions done by the Nigerian Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to fight tuberculosis, especially involving the private sector to complement the efforts of government and invest in tuberculosis cause. I am encouraged by the participation of your health officials in Nigeria TB conference, demonstrating the active involvement and engagement of the health sector. All these reflections are seeds to new ideas and innovations, which me and my team can bring back to the Philippines. These exchanges of insights are a reflection of our global commitment to work hard, hand in hand, in one global community. Yes, tuberculosis is a global challenge, transcending borders and requiring a unified response. No nation can succeed in isolation. I call upon all of us here to strengthen partnerships, share breakthroughs, and collectively marshal the resources necessary to put the disease to an end. Let's make TB elimination a defining symbol of global solidarity. In the Philippines, we embrace the guiding principle, sa bagong Pilipinas, bawat buhay mahalaga, or in English, in the new Philippines, every life is precious. This conviction fuels our resolve to forge a future free of tuberculosis, where no one is left behind. Each step we take brings us closer to a world where tuberculosis is but a chapter in history. Now is the time for decisive and united action. Yes, we can. Because together, we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That concludes the high-level interventions that has brought to bear global support, global attention, and what states are doing that we also can buy into, showing that diseases don't have borders, eliminating them, it's a collaborative effort. At this moment, Your Excellencies, I'd like to invite the Blackbone Theatre troupe to entertain us for about 5 minutes, and thereafter, and thereafter we'll have another group for another 5 minutes. You have the floor, the director. Very energizing. Thank you so much. Some of the popular tunes of Nigeria were played there, and I think we should please give them a very loud round of applause. Yes, leaving no one behind, catching them young, ensuring that together we end TB. Let me now invite to the microphone a 16-year-old Muhammad Al-Amin Sanusi, who is going to be giving us some spoken words. Thank you.
Good afternoon, our mommy, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, honorable ministers, members of the diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen, mommies and daddies, my brothers and sisters. My name is Muhammad Al-Amin Sanusi. I'm honored to stand in your presence to present a spoken word titled The Untitled. Sound. As a child, we live life and we don't worry why. As we grow, it gets tougher, but we don't want to try. Memories that feel as if they occurred yesterday just turns into flashes of moments that seems to fade away. The people we once knew just walk by without a clue. The times we once shared exist as if we were never there. Years fly, friends die, and we never know when we will say our last goodbye. Our entire life is made up of choices. What we decide, the action we take, and the attitude we display, all of this represents the steps of life. Sometimes we take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Some of us take baby steps, while some of us take giant steps. But the big secret is not to let that 1 step back turn into a failure. Learn from backward step and keep on stepping forward in this dance called life. But I heard they will live and die by the choices we make. And there's always so much a person can take. See, whether it is 20 years or 120, live it with the purpose to be greater than many. They're likely life will belong. So live it that you have a future in your mind, because if you act in the moment, this life no go easy. Trust no future, however pleasant. Let the dead pass and bury his dead. Act in the living present. Hard within and believe in God, because life of great men reminds us that we can make our lives sublime and the pattern. Leave behind us footprints on the sand of time. So let us be up and doing with a heart for any faith. Keep achieving, keep pursuing. Let's labor and to wait, because with doubt and dismay, we are all smitten. Just be proud of whom you've tried to be. I know that in this life, you must choose to live, to make the most of every day by giving all you have to give. To me, that's what this life should be. To me, that's what it's for. By taking what God Almighty has given you, then you make it so much more in this dance called life. Sir, mom, mommies and daddies, my brothers and sisters, the only way they'll believe in you is when you master your craft. No one will ever ignore you. And if they do, they look so stupid doubting you. So get so good at whatever you do on this earth that no one can look past you. And if they need the best person for the job, who did they think of? Nobody but you. Hey, you did that talk behind your back. Who cares? They are behind you for a reason. But as long as you walk, keep growing, stay focused, they will always be behind you. Do they ignore you? Good. It's time to grow. Grow so much that they can't even ignore you. Grow so much that they need you. Grow so much to become the master, the leader in your field or class. Grow so much that they come begging for your help. I urge you to push yourself to become the person you are destined to become. If you want to get the results you've never gotten before, you have to do things you've never done before. Learn everything you need to learn. Pay attention to what works, and also pay attention to what doesn't work. Pay attention to what people want, and also pay attention to what they don't want. Master your craft, and master everything that has to do with your craft, because no one ignores the master. And I'll tell you, no one. You know what? Don't even do it for them. Do it for you. Grow for you. Become great for you. Compete against only yourself, knowing that you are becoming the greatest version of yourself. There's no greater motivation than that. See, my friends, mommies and daddies, you have to seize the moment, because you only got one. You have to realize something, that if you fall down or if you fail, you may not get another chance. So in anything you do in this world, you just have to step in and prepare like your life depends on it. We all know in Nigerian vibrant landscape, we find a kaleidoscope of cultures intertwined. From north to south, east to west, our diversity's fabric is the best. From Hausa's ancient empires to Yoruba's vibrant throne. And the beauty in bowing to Caribbean Sea, Igbo's industrial spirits never overthrown. Delta's rhythmic beats, the gentle savannah's breeze. Each culture, a thread weaving our national teeth. The Tashina, the Yer Gala, no father in numbers. To the delicious delicacies of the Igbos, the likes of Isiewu and Abacha. Oh, my delicious pounded yam and oha soup. We are the land of Afrobeat and Fuji's with sound, where traditional attire meets modern style unbound. From Adire to Ankara, our textile tells tales of a heritage that never fails. My question to you all is, what happens when differences divide? When tribal lines and tongues begin to collide? Where tribalism and discrimination becomes the order of the day? Do we let our diversity become a waste? Or do we lift each other to create a brighter fate? In Nigeria's cultural melting pot, we find a renewed hope, a chance to realign. Our differences are the spice that make us whole, the flavor that sets our nation's soul. So let's all celebrate our unique blend and embrace the beauty that makes us strength. From Edo's bronze casting to Oyo's ancient walls, our diversity always stands tall. Nigeria, land of hope and promised land, where diversity is strength hand in hand. We will weave our thread into a tapestry so bright. Inseparable connectivity shining with all our might. Nigeria kasar mune ouwana, menene zehana mu hadda kai mu bar kyamar juna. Nigeria yo ni baje Nigeria ogayi emebi kwa It's high time we all come together, regardless of our diversity and ethnicity, with one voice, one world, and one Nigeria. to end TB and to make our nation a greater and a better place for all of us and generations to come. Thank you, and God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Awesome, 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 awesome. See, Mama, go and give Mama. Awesome, awesome, awesome. True spirit of our Nigeria. Thank you, Mother of the Nation there. Appreciating, yes, oh, awesome. Yes, let the applause continue. Very deserving. Thank you very much, Muhammad. He sat there quietly. I didn't know the fire that was igniting in him. At this moment, in the spirit of that fire that has ignited the health sector in Nigeria and, of course, the social welfare, please welcome with me our dynamic, Honorable Coordinating Minister, Federal Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate.
I'm really speechless. Muhammad Al-Amin Sanusi has just took away the winds from my remarks. I'm not sure what I'm going to say again, but thank you. Your Excellency, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I dare say the Grand Commander of our global fight against TB, globally, but also regionally and in Nigeria. I think you're beyond a champion. We are truly the Grand Commander, having assembled people from more than 60 nationalities who are all welcome in our great city, Abuja, testament to your leadership. So we thank you. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol, but to acknowledge the wives of the Speaker, the Chief of Staff, my brother, the Honorable Minister, my sister, the Minister of Police Affairs, and other ministers that are here with us, and wives of other ministers, senior government officials, and development partners that are here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I really would like to also specifically acknowledge my good friend, Secretary Haboza, the Secretary of Health of Philippines, who happens to be the highest official of the government of Philippines ever to visit Nigeria. So we really appreciate your acceptance of the invitation of Her Excellency to join us to do health diplomacy, strengthen the bonds between Nigeria and the Philippines. And you are taking on the presidency of the World Health Assembly, we expect, in 2025. So this puts us in a very good stead, given that it will be going to the region. I acknowledge my other very good friends, the Deputy Minister, Abdul Khalik of Tajikistan, and Dr. Halima Dauda from Malawi, Deputy Minister of Health, as well as my other good friend, Dr. Bodi Sadikin, who is on his way from the airport, who is the Minister of Health of Indonesia, as well as the Aaron Masoudlodi, who is the Minister of Health of South Africa. Very good friends that are all coming to be part of the deliberations of this week. My sister, Dr. Lusika, you've said it all. So we welcome you. You are Nigerian as far as we are concerned. Her Excellency has already approved that. So we really welcome you. And all members of the Global Stop TB Partnership, Austin and others, and the Nigerian Stop TB Partnership that are here. Excellencies, on behalf of the government and people of Nigeria, and following the remarks of my colleague, the Minister of State, and with great honor, an immense pleasure. I also welcome you all to this high-level event on political leadership to end TB, a special event of the 38th board meeting of the Stop TB Partnership Global. And all of you are very welcome to our dear country. Your Excellency, the First Lady, you've made history in organizing this first high-level event on TB in Nigeria at this level and with this breadth. This event demonstrates your unwavering commitment and leadership, and you have already demonstrated it on the day of your investiture when you approved and immediately, within 24 hours, made available the 1 billion naira which was used to buy the TB lamps. So we thank you for that. But importantly, your voice in convening additional resources from other leaders in our country, I think it's so invaluable, and we appreciate it. And our gratitude to all the board members for accepting to come to our country to discuss important issues. Today also marks the first year anniversary of the Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative, which His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu launched on 12 December 2023 here in this venue. The theme of this high-level event is on political leadership. But leadership is not a noun, it's a verb. You exercise it, it's action. And His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has exercised leadership in putting health on the path to transformation in our country through many other steps that he has taken to revamp our primary health care, retrain our frontline health workers, expand our health infrastructure, expand our diagnostic capability, unlock the healthcare value chain, strengthen our health security, and govern in a way that federal government works with states and local governments, civil society, private sector, and our international development partners. That is leadership, and the President has exercised it. And Your Excellency, you are exercising it as well, so we appreciate all of you. Nigeria, like many other nations, has been plagued with huge burden of tuberculosis for decades. Here we have, I would say, representatives from at least countries that account for at least 2 billion or 2.5 billion of the world's population that are participating in this event from the various countries that are here. And the devastating impact of this disease on communities, and particularly vulnerable populations, is well known. But our commitment, which has been unwavering in tackling this head-on, means that we are poised to, in fact, not only sustain, but make additional progress globally. As a country, we have heard the progress that Nigeria has made, and we are proud of it. Through our surveillance systems that have been enhanced, expanding our diagnostic and treatment centers, our targeted outreach programs, and we've seen improvements in case detection, in treatment success rates, one of the highest in the world, and we're very proud of it as Nigerians, that we can do this, and we have started to do it already. But we're also aware of the challenges that remain, including that of drug-resistant TB, the stigma in certain quarters, and still significant gaps in funding. That calls for renewed innovation, robust collaboration, and sustainable investment. And this board meeting that we're embarking this week, bringing experts and the ministers and policymakers, global partners, is to share our experiences and to see how we can collaborate further to develop strategies to accelerate the fight against TB globally and in our respective countries. And we must strengthen our partnerships, mobilize the resources that are needed, and continue to implement innovative approaches to address the challenges that lie ahead. My sister, the Minister of Malawi, indicated how Malawi is innovating on the margins to stretch to get more health for the money that we are spending. Just as in Nigeria, we're also stretching the limited resources to make sure it reaches where it needs to be. We have to continue to push more resources, but also use the resources that we have to strengthen our health systems and to ensure that TB patients can access quality care, that primary healthcare services are available not only to TB patients, but to women, to our children, to all those who have non-communicable diseases, who have HIV, to deal with issues of malaria, to build the capacities of our frontline health workers, and to improve access to essential medicines and diagnostic tests. We must also remove the barriers or reduce the social determinants, which was mentioned, such as poverty, tackle malnutrition, prevent HIV, which increase the risk of tuberculosis. And this administration is aggressively repositioning Nigeria's economy in a way that the social determinants would also be addressed in the sense of infrastructure, housing, nutrition, food security, which have bearing on what we are trying to do on TB. And to do that without ignoring the most vulnerable in our society, our children, the adolescents, people living with HIV, women, the elderly, and others who may be differently able than us, who tend to be disproportionately affected by TB. We must ensure that they have access to the care and that all the support that they need. And vaccination, of course, the federal government is fully responsible for procuring all the BCG vaccines that are being deployed in Nigeria, and will continue to do that. That's a commitment of the federal government under the leadership of the president. And when new vaccines are developed, to ensure that we have access to that. And for our global partners, as you're making progress in developing new TB vaccines, we only ask that when the vaccines are developed, let them be manufactured in Africa. And if they can be manufactured, let the vaccines be manufactured. Nigeria is open for business. And we're unlocking our healthcare value chain. And fight against TB, while it is about a single disease, and it's happening, this event, a day after the birthday of the gentleman who identified the organism that caused TB, Robert Koch, I think 181 years ago, when we finally knew that this was a disease caused by an infectious agent. But to fight it requires a multifaceted approach, which means we have to work together to prioritize and extend our advocacy to all levels of society, all levels of government, so that our combined effort will result in the improvements that we seek and we know is possible. For us in Nigeria, the health sector reform, the sector-wide approach, it has taken off. We are not yet at cruising altitude, but under the leadership of the president, we know that our direction is going forward. And what we have done on TB, we are also doing in many other segments of our health sector. So I extend my gratitude to all of the Stop TB Partnership members that are here with us, and thank the delegates, the stakeholders for making the journey to Nigeria, and hope that you all have an enjoyable stay in our lovely country, Nigeria. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The promise for an improved healthcare delivery sector in Nigeria. Your Excellencies all, very, very distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Her love for country is palpable, you see it. That's what she is about. Her love for sustainable results is her mantra, and her love for getting things done is unprecedented. Welcome with me the First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Global and National Stop TB Champion, Her Excellency Senator.
Thank you very much. Can we all be seated?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. The wife of the Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, Ajia Fatima Tajuddin Abbas, and other wives of honorable members that are here, wife of the Chief of Staff to the President, Mrs. Salamatu Gbajabiamila, the Honorable Coordinating Minister, Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, CON, Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Adekunle Salako, Honorable Minister for Women Affairs, Ajia Iman Sulaiman Ibrahim, wives of ministers here present, ministers and deputy ministers of health from various countries here present, acting board chair, Stop TB Partnership Nigeria, Dr. Queen Uboji Ladipo, executive director, Stop TB Partnership, Dr. Lusika Ditu, my dear friend, executive director, Afro Global Alliance, Mr. Austin Arinze Obefuna, mission director, U.S. Agency for International Development, Dr. Melissa Jones, chair, Global TB Caucus, Honorable Wright Nick Herbert, members of the diplomatic corps here present, members of the National Council for Women's Society, National Coordinator, TB People, Nigeria, Tokwe Adams, donor agencies and partners here present, top government functionaries, delegates here present, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to welcome all board members to the 38th board meeting of the Stop TB Partnership Global, and I welcome guests, partners, and stakeholders, and the Nigerian delegation here this morning. 2 days ago, I joined critical stakeholders at the opening ceremony of the National Stop TB Conference that attracted more than 62 countries towards charting a new course to eradicate tuberculosis in Nigeria. It was encouraging to witness the progress that has been made, from expanding diagnostic services to improving treatment access. However, it was evident that there is still much work to be done. Challenges remain, particularly in funding, awareness, and integrated service delivery. There is need to ensure that no Nigerian is left behind in this fight. Therefore, at this crucial board meeting, I urge us to recommit ourselves to collective action, for TB remains the world's deadliest infectious disease. And as citizens of the world, of Africa, and of Nigeria, we have the power, the responsibility, and the duty to act now. As we move forward, let us acknowledge that the data on tuberculosis are not just numbers. They represent real people, their struggles, and the profound impact of this disease. While the statistics are disturbing, it should be also propel our hope, commitment, and determination to eradicate this global health crisis. The Stop TB Partnership has been a critical ally in the effort to end this scourge. Your leadership and commitment inspire global collaboration and action. I have seen firsthand the impact of your work during events like World TB Day and the United Nations General Assembly. This partnership reminds us that ending TB requires solidarity, both within nations and across borders. As we gather for this important meeting, let us remember that we have the knowledge, the tools, and most importantly, the will to make TB a disease of the past. Therefore, our goals are attainable. Let us move forward with urgency and determination. And before I end this remark, I want to recognize Ms. Tokwe Adebola Adams. I hear your 3 points. And I believe I still have more work to do, and I'll tell you why. I was talking to the Honorable Minister just a few moments before he came up. I said most of us don't even know we still have TB, but I had a first-hand experience, and also HIV/AIDS. So my husband being president, and even when I spent 12 years in the Senate, I wasn't in the health committee. So it was quite difficult for me to know what is there, but all we know is that we are healthy, and that's it. Until I got into the global stage, and I heard firsthand that we're still talking about HIV/AIDS. But I know when I run my routine tests, I check for HIV/AIDS and every hepatitis for myself. But what about the common man on the street and the vulnerable? And that is what is most challenging for me and breaks my heart. And We will see what to do, and I want to thank the Honorable Minister for making it our relationship quite respectful, because I try not to butt into the ministry. Ministers are under Mr. President, not under the First Lady, but he makes the relationship so respectful, and I want to thank you. Very easy to talk to. And when I ran into Dr. Lusika in last year's ONGA, I was wondering, what am I doing at Concordia? But it's called for duty. I was there. We sat in a panel and we started talking about TB. And nothing just happens, because I thought I can talk about a personal experience about my staff that lost his life, and which is still painful to me till today. Because I would have helped, I would have, done everything for him to get treatment, but he kept it just because of the stigma. And I think we've been silent for too long. We have to talk more. And I was telling him, if he allows me, we will step up our advocacy more, and we'll see what to do. And not only that, at Concordia, and also some of the meetings with African First Ladies for Development, I discovered that, we have to say something about HIV/AIDS again. Because I'm over 60 and 64 to be precise. During our time, HIV/AIDS, we're all very careful, but our children are more vulnerable because we are not talking about it anymore. And our last minute meeting in Zimbabwe, when we were talking about mother-to-child transmission, for me to sit there and they're pointing the finger at me that Nigeria is the most affected, I said, my God, we have to do something. So we're going to be working with Professor Patti in the future, especially when it comes to the frontline health workers. And I want to thank you also for involving me in that. I'll do whatever I can. And then we're going to start Free to Shine, which is the mother-to-child transmission. We have a lot we have to do, but I pray that God will give me the strength. And I want to thank our son, Muhammad. It seems as if God brought you here to encourage me. Thank you very much. I thank you all and wish you all fruitful deliberations. Thank you for coming to our country, and do enjoy your stay in Nigeria, and safe travel when you go back home. Happy holidays, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yes, we can. God bless you.
Yes, we need to talk more and talk loudly. I would please like to invite all the dignitaries on the front row to my right, starting from the Honorable Coordinating Minister, to come up. We're going to have 2 sets of photographs to come up, including, of course, the Mr. Tobio and the Japan Ambassador to Nigeria. Please. Ms. Yami Tobio and the Ambassador of Japan. Melissa, please, can you? All the front row, please. All the front row, please. To the right, to my right. The front row to my right first. Oh, it will be too much. Okay. All right. We'll take as much as we can, and we'll. I think. Okay.
It's okay.
you very much. You may return to your seats, except, of course, the Honorable Minister and Her Excellency. And I'd like now to invite all the dignitaries on the front row to my left side here. Yes, ma'am, yes. Yes.
Sorry.
Okay.
Let's go together.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies and our ladies. Finally, we're going to invite all parliamentarians at the national, regional, and global levels to come. All the parliamentarians here, please. They're very important going forward. All the parliamentarians here, please, can global, regional, national. Thank you. Your Excellency, ma'am, the parliamentarians. Yes, ma'am. They're the last set. We have parliamentarians at the national, regional, and global levels. No, definitely. Thank you. The parliamentarians are very, very important going forward. Thank you, please. That's all. Thank you so very much. Yes, that's it. Thank you very much. Very respectful. We'll now get prepared to take the national anthem. I request that, thank you very much. Just leave it here. Just may I please request that we all remain standing as we now have the national anthem to conclude this formal opening. The national anthem, please. We'll just remain in our positions while the First Lady and members of her entourage will take leave of us. Thank you very much for choosing Nigeria to start this high-level intervention. Wish you impactful deliberation at your meetings, and have a wonderful day in Abuja. Compliments of the season, and Merry Christmas in advance. Bless you.